Hello, everyone, and welcome to the College Orientation Family Webinar Series. My name is Natalie Davis, and I'm an assistant director in college events and family engagement in college programming and orientation. And tonight I'll be serving as your moderator. Tonight's webinar, Preparing for Move-In and O Week, will cover all things move-in logistics, orientation week, and any upcoming family programming. For the agenda tonight, we will allow each area that's represented, so housing and residence life and college programming and orientation, or the CPO, about 10 minutes to present about their unit and services. With all of the time left over, we will open up for Q&A. Feel free to submit questions to the Q&A portal, which you can find at the bottom of your screens. We'll do our best to get through all of your questions tonight, but please feel free to reach out to Housing and Residence Life directly or to College Programming and Orientation with any questions that may not be answered. We will get started here shortly with Dan from Housing and Residence Life.
All right. Hi, everyone. I am Dan Barker with Housing and Residence Life. I'm the Director of Operations here. My team oversees the 24/7 mail and desk operations, as well as facilities and upkeeping the amenities that make our halls home. I will get started and talk a little bit about the move-in logistics here. Um, so just talking a little bit about before move-in, which is now. I know many of you are already packing or thinking about packing or all of that. I would definitely recommend to pack light. The suggested packing list can be found on our website. Um, Also, I know a lot of folks wonder about shipping items to the residence halls. We will return items to sender that are sent before Friday, September 12th, but we will begin accepting them in our mail and package rooms, and we will be accepting packages that are under 50 pounds as a general rule. Um, and then um, likely we will. Students should either go to the mailroom of their residence hall, or if our mailrooms get overloaded, we may sometimes bring them to the students' rooms, but that is not guaranteed. Um, Also, review the move-in guide. It is a guide that really kind of goes step by step about the move-in process. It provides instructions for getting to the residence hall, unloading, what that day will look like. And that will be sent, we believe, on Friday, which will also launch on our website as well. So folks can find that information there. Um, you have been, Students have been signing up for their move-in times for move-in day on the 23rd. And we ask that folks arrive no earlier than 15 minutes prior to the selected move-in appointment. The move-in time slots are an hour each. There's plenty of time for students to move in. We have a lot of help. We unload cars very quickly. So getting there early really only starts to back the process up. Don't worry if it's 10 minutes, 5 minutes, but really please don't arrive more than 15 minutes early. Students in on campus in PREO programs and preseason athletes do not need to select a move-in appointment, as they will be moving into their term assignments prior to that. If you did select a move-in time, it is okay. We do have the list and we can kind of remove that. But Students can view or change their selected move-in appointment time via the My Housing portal. So now the time is here. It is moving. So I'll talk briefly about what that will look like. So Paige will go over, my colleague Paige will go over a little bit about the Residence Life staff welcome team, the move-in volunteers, but they will be there in bright shirts. You'll know who they are, and they will assist in unloading vehicles in the unloading zone. We will have campus safety and campus police officers directing folks to those unloading zones. So it will be very clear. And we do just ask that you know your house name. A lot of times the loading zones will depend on the side of the building that you are on, and folks know that by the house. So if you're moving into Booth House and International House, you can just say that there, and you will be directed to the appropriate loading zone. And then after unloading or during unloading, folks will have rolling carts with them, our move-in volunteers, and typically we like to keep track of them so that usually they'll be the ones pushing and moving those carts and then taking them back so that we can continue doing that. And so they will assist cars. And after unloading, the driver will be instructed to move their car to designated parking area. We have that information. And the CPO office also sends that information out. And then we do also have shuttles running that can shuttle folks back from the parking lots to the residence halls. Also, once you get there, beds can be adjusted within the bed frame. We do not loft beds. So we're not going to be raising a bed where a desk can fit under, but it can be raised, higher, lower, depending on storage items, and they also can be bunked. So students can go down. We have sign-up sheets down at the desk that our staff will be checking periodically all day, and then we'll be going up to do that the same day of typically. I believe that there's a cutoff time that then I think it's 7 p.m. and anyone who signs up after that will just be able to put in a work request. But during the day, it will be a sign up at the desk. Um, and then just an FYI also, student and professional staff will be present during the move-in time. And also our front desks are staffed 24/7 that provide different amenities, whether it's a vacuum or they also help with lockouts, and they also are that access control and kind of security in the residence halls as well. And they can't wait to meet you all. So I will move it on to my colleague, Greg Malenga.
Thanks, Dan. Well, good evening, everyone. We are very excited that in just a few short weeks, we will be able to meet all of you. Welcome to you, Chicago. For those that have not yet set foot on campus, we are just excited to see you very soon. I am Greg Malenga. I'm the Director of Occupancy Management and Administration within Housing and Residence Life. My portfolio involves the housing assignment process for new students as well as returning students. I also oversee all summer conference operations as well as marketing and communications for our department. So I'd like to talk a little bit about housing assignments this evening. Housing assignment details are available through the My Housing portal. We released housing assignments on Friday, August 15th. So all students should have received our email on that date and by now have likely seen their housing assignments. If you're a student or are a family member of a student and you have not yet seen that housing assignment, or your student is saying they haven't seen their housing assignment, the My Housing portal is where you'll find that information. It's right on the main page after logging in. Students will need to use their CNET ID and password to access that portal, very similar to many other university systems. Also within the My Housing portal, students can download a residency verification document. Oftentimes we get requests from students for a document being able to verify their on-campus residency because they'd like to open a bank account or they'd like to get a state ID or register to vote. We've created a downloadable document directly from the My Housing portal that students can print off and take to any of those agencies to prove their on-campus residency. So it should contain all the information that's needed in order to be able to complete those items. If there are any questions about the information that's on there, feel free to reach out to our office and we will try to assist you as best as we can. So room changes are not possible prior to move-in, and that is simply because, especially this year, we are incredibly full on campus. So it's very exciting time for us. We are anticipating to pretty much be 100% full. We're very close to that. So our ability to process a room change for any reason prior to move-in is just not there. So we apologize in advance that if you are seeking a room change for any number of reasons and you've received a response back from us that we can't, we apologize for that. But we do want to let you know that we are going to open a process on Monday, October 6th, where you as a student can make that request. That process essentially has two different opportunities for students. So if students don't have a specific location that they'd like to move to and they just want to give us preferences, we have one part of our room change process that we take that through. And then occasionally we will get a room change request from a student because they have a friend of theirs that has a vacancy and they want to move into that. We have a second part of our room change process that we take those requests through. We do review and process all room changes based upon submission date, and a change does not necessarily guarantee that we will be able, a request does not necessarily mean that we will be able to offer a change because there's a lot of factors that govern our room change process. So submission date, student housing preferences, and then most of all, available space. So but stay tuned for more information about that process. Once it does open on October 6th, we will release an email to all students, UChicago email account, just reminding you that that process is open. And then I also want to speak a little bit about specific housing accommodations for medical conditions or disabilities. So if you are a student that is in need of specific housing accommodations to support a medical condition or a disability, and you have not already engaged with Student Disability Services for that, we encourage you to do that as soon as possible. So as I said before, we are expecting to be very full at the start of the academic year. So if you have not yet reached out, it may be a little bit more challenging for us to try to meet that accommodation before move-in. We will certainly do the best that we can based upon available space. But that process does begin with Student Disability Services. So I want to talk a little bit about breaks and move out. So it's hard to believe that we're talking about that because students haven't even moved in yet, but we find it really helpful to share this information early on so that students and their families can plan accordingly because we do have periods of time where our residence halls are closed. We've gone ahead and listed some of our breaks up here and information about if the halls are open or closed during that period. So I will keep it brief and just say that we are open and students are welcome to stay on campus during Thanksgiving break and spring break. However, our residence halls do close for winter break starting at 12 p.m. on Sunday, December 14th. And do not reopen until 8 a.m. on Saturday, January 3rd. So that is 2 days before the start of winter quarter classes. Students are urged to make their winter break plans now in accordance with those dates. We are typically not able to accommodate most requests for students to stay in on-campus housing over winter break. We do have a process for students that have very significant needs to stay on campus, we do have a process that we open in October for that. But by and large, most students are expected to make alternative housing arrangements during that period of time. We'll communicate more information about winter break as we get closer to that process. One question that I will answer right now, in case it's top of mind, is that for students that are leaving for winter break and are going to return for the start of winter quarter, you don't need to take everything with you out of your room during that time. You only need to take the items that you need over the break period. So that is a common question that we get, so I'll answer that right now. And then at the end of the year, we do close at 12 p.m. on Saturday, May 30th. So all students who are not graduating are required to move out by that timeline. We encourage students to move out as soon as their in-person finals are finished, but certainly no later than 12 p.m. on Saturday, May 30th.
All right, and then I have our last slide. And so my name is Paige Hicks. I serve as the Director of Residence Life, and I'm excited to see so many faces and new faces around campus and buzzing around all of our 48 halls. 48 houses on campus. And so to introduce you a little bit to the Residence Life team, when you get to campus, we have a number of people who are ready to make campus feel like home for you. And so as you are arriving and pulling up, we have orientation and Residence Life orientation aides. And so we call these OAs in this space. And so they will be outside and in the community helping people navigate to get to where their room is at and also decorating the halls. And so these are our 2nd through 4th year students who have opted to move in a little bit earlier to really make campus feel like home for folks. And then a part of that welcome team, we also have the resident assistants. And so resident assistants, or RAs, are 2nd through 4th year students who really serve as peer leaders within their community. They help to do programming. They also work a lot with the resident heads too. But when you arrive on campus on the 23rd, RAs and resident heads as well will be there to also help you navigate and get to your house too. Our resident heads are full-time, either faculty, advanced graduate students, or university staff members that live in the community with us. We really take a dynamic approach to thinking about what does learning, what does connection, what does camaraderie look like within the house. And so our resident heads really are integral into thinking about how we connect, how we engage on campus. Along with those folks, we'll have other central housing staff members like community directors and assistant directors that are there to provide direction, engagement, and guidance for folks. So feel free to wave them down. They'll either be wearing a bright colored t-shirt or a polo. And then we have our resident deans. And so these are tenure track faculty members that are really interested in thinking about what is the intellectual curiosity and engagement happening within the entire community. And so I know we're spending a lot of time thinking about how you get here, and it's important. Don't forget to pack your bed sheets. Don't forget to figure out where you're going for your house. But once you get here, we want to make sure that you feel welcome and you feel connected in your house. And so with that, I'll review a couple of important dates that's coming up. While you're packing and moving and grooving, on September 23rd from 10 a.m. to noon, your resident dean of your community is going to host a reception somewhere in that space. I believe you can look in the app to figure out, find out where it's at, but there'll also be postings around the community. This is for students, for residents, for parents. The resident deans of the community want to say hi. Typically, they have refreshments, so feel free to stop by, grab some water, but also they have snacks. So I would try to grab some of those things so you could take a break from moving in. And then on that next day, on September 24th, we have our first year house meeting. And so for all of our first years, the resident heads want to spend some time with you, orient you to the house, tell you what's going on. This is a great opportunity to meet other people within your house. And so we encourage people to attend that. And then a couple of days later, we have a resident head activity day. Your resident heads, along with the RAs, spend a lot of time thinking about what are ways that they can show you the campus and the greater Chicago Chicago and Chicagoland community. And so they'll spend some time taking you somewhere, doing some fun activities. The whole house will be present for this point. So we'll have returners in that space, but also our new folks to really come around and think about how we get to build this house culture together. And then on October 4th, one of my favorite events, we have the Resident Dean Activity Day. The resident deans will put on really large scale events for the entire community to come together. Usually there's music, there's food, there's dancing and fun. I'm sure there's going to be a lot mentioned in the app, but we're really excited to welcome you to campus, for you to find your home, and for you to make connections with others. With that, I will pass it over to my colleagues and CPO.
Hey everyone, good evening. My name is Whitney Hedge, she, her pronouns. I am the Associate Director for Orientation. And on behalf of the college, we are so excited to welcome you all to Chicago in just a few short weeks.
Hi, everybody. My name is Lincoln Till. I'm the Assistant Director of Orientation. Our office, College Programming Orientation, or as you've heard it referred to now a couple of times, CPO, connects students and families to the college while celebrating milestones, significant milestones throughout their time at the college, from orientation to family weekend, senior week to graduation, and everything else in between. We're always providing experiences for students. And yeah, our contact information, as you can see, there's on the screen. You can call or text us, send us an email, check out our website, and if you're on campus, feel free to stop on by our office. Yeah.
So we just wanted to share a bit of information about college orientation. The college has developed a phased approach for orientation to build connections with students and families through consistent communication and engagement opportunities. And so we believe in a dosing of information, of smaller amounts of information throughout the summer and into the fall quarter, using a multi-pronged communication approach, and our trained peer mentors to disseminate that information. So you all have already been participating in our first phase of orientation, and I'm going to pass it back to Lincoln, who's going to talk through what we've been doing so far this summer, and then we'll highlight what's coming up in September.
Yeah. So as a lot of you may already be aware, we're kind of in the middle, wrapping up phase one of this, which is our online orientation. So before all the students arrive on campus, they go through a series of modules, newsletters, emails, outreach from us, of things they need to know before they come to campus. So they've been receiving regular orientation emails and online modules around different topics on campus, and families have been receiving our family orientation newsletters. And those cover all of the same topics that are being addressed in the student modules for that particular time. So far, 10 modules are available for students in their Canvas orientation course to be working through, and then 9 family orientation newsletters have been sent out, and a variety of other emails and outreach that have been going out to students. The copies of all of our communications are posted on the orientation website. So if you ever want to reference one of them or just go check back through, make sure you've read everything, you can find them there. And then in addition to the emails and modules online, we've also been hosting webinars all summer long. We've hosted and promoted just over 30 webinars this summer, covering all things from advising to financial aid, student wellness, safety and security, and all bunch of more than that. Most of our webinars from the summer have been recorded, and they are also linked on our orientation website. So feel free to go back and listen, or if you don't remember something said, they are there for you, and you can go watch them at any time that you would like. And another resource that we've had for students this summer is the orientation to-do list. So this is a comprehensive list of all of the tasks that our new students need to complete from May, starting when they're accepted, and then in through their autumn quarter. So it's separated by our required tasks, and then strongly recommended, and then ones that we encourage students to do. So that kind of helps them keep on track through their process over the summer. And then lastly, all of our incoming students get assigned a peer mentor over the summer. So peer mentors got their groups of students at the beginning of June and began their reach out to their students in their group. And our peer mentors send out regular communications through email and text text groups, and they also hold monthly virtual sessions for students to be a part of and hang out. And they're there just to be an aid to students and their transition to the school. And exciting and opportunity, students get to like meet their peer mentor on campus during O week, and they'll be kind of like doing activities with their peer mentor throughout the week. And all of the items are linked on the orientation website, like I said too. So if you're looking for something or you missed it, just browse that website and you'll probably find what you're looking for. And then
We are, oh, sorry, Lincoln. I was just gonna say we are aware of a bug on our website currently for some browsers. So if you're visiting our website and you're not seeing drop-down links, you can try to switch to a different browser or a private browser, but we're working with IT to get that fixed. And so what's coming up? What's on the horizon? We are so excited to welcome you all and your students to College Orientation Week, or also called O Week, which began in 1934 as a way to introduce new students to the traditions and community that makes UChicago such a unique destination for our students from across the world. O Week is a multi-day series of events, programs, and community meetings that provide new students with an in-depth overview of how the college works. Our orientation weekend program is comprised of a variety of different types of programs. For example, students will have several mandatory sessions that they need to attend, such as their academic advising group meetings, residence life house meetings like Paige referenced, and sessions with their peer mentor. We also offer a handful of signature programs celebrating our campus traditions like opening convocation, the Aims of Education address, and the college kickoff barbecue. And then on top of that, we have a plethora of social and late night opportunities to help students meet their fellow peers and build community, like the annual Glow Party, College Night at the Museum of Science and Industry, the Logan Center Party, and much more. And then lastly, even beyond that, we offer many optional programs that students can opt into and sort of choose their own adventure based on their interests and special events dedicated to different populations, like our incoming transfer students or international students. So a lot's happening within that 5 to 6 days that they're here before classes start that we encourage our students to take full advantage of. Our next orientation email going out next week to students and families will cover how to access the orientation schedule. So students and families, you'll be able to take a look at the full schedule and map out, what programs might be interested, programs that they can pre-register if they're interested in those, and etc. In addition to the full schedule, students will also have an individualized appointment card that they'll be able to view when they check in for orientation that will list their required mandatory sessions that they have to attend. So thinking about our families, the college has coordinated many activities for both students and their families and guests who might be joining them for move-in. And activities and programs for families will take place on Tuesday, September 23rd and Wednesday, September 24th. So just a few highlights for you all during those 2 days. First, we are providing students with guest meal swipes so they can bring their guests and families to the dining hall, so you can check that out with them. Those meal swipes will be preloaded onto their UC ID card, and students living on campus will be provided 8 guest meals. Students living off campus will be provided 4. And if you need more than that, you can always pay the rate at the door. Our team has also coordinated an extra campus shuttle and parking opportunity or parking options for you all who might be driving or needing a space to park. And so when you get the full schedule, you'll be able to check out the campus map that highlights where there is free parking and the shuttles that will be continuously looping around campus on Tuesday and Wednesday that can get you from the residence halls to this parking options and to and from campus. You can also ride the UChicago Go shuttles while you're with your student and visiting them on campus for move-in. So just to highlight Tuesday and Wednesday, On Tuesday, September 23rd, like Paige mentioned, after you move your student in, encourage you to meet the staff in their building through the resident dean receptions. And after that, your student will need to head to orientation check-in. All students are required to check into orientation, and when they check in, they will receive their UPass card and their orientation class gift. Only students will be permitted to enter the building for check-in, and so families, you'll be invited to join the rest of our team in the college in the courtyard nearby for free coffee, snacks, and some giveaways. Throughout the day on Tuesday, many different offices are hosting optional events. Drop by in their offices and open houses. So if you have a break in between moving or there's a specific resources you're looking at, you're interested in learning more about, feel free to check out the schedule and see if you can drop by their hours or if they're having an open house. Lastly, we're really excited to announce a new event this year for our transfer students and their families taking place on Tuesday evening, a transfer student welcome in Rockefeller Chapel. This will be a great way to celebrate and welcome our newest cohort of transfer students with speakers from the college and a light reception afterwards. Tuesday evening, your student will be invited to meet their peer mentor, and this will be a great opportunity for our families to hang out, check out Hyde Park, or spend a night down in the city. And then on Wednesday, we have just some highlighted events for you all. In the morning, we have our annual orientation fair, where we will have a variety of campus partners around with tables and resources. We'll have really great snacks, giveaways, and many photo opportunities. We will also have a luggage check available on Wednesday if you have any luggage you want to drop off for us to watch. And then Wednesday afternoon is our large traditional event that you might have heard of or seen, our opening convocation. Students will sit in Rockefeller Chapel or in Max P Cinema and engage with this program with their peers. Families will be directed to the main quad where you can watch a live stream of the event and then line the marching route to cheer on your student as they process through the main quad up towards their class photo. Once students process through the main quad, families will be directed to a private family reception with university leaders and college staff to celebrate you before you depart campus. And so I've talked a lot about the schedule. Where can you find it? Again, it will be released next week, but currently on our website, you can find a published copy of the family orientation book, and I can drop that in the chat for you. Oops. And you can check out all of the details that are available to you as families for programming, and then further information will be in the full schedule. So the full schedule will be released next week through an app on your phone, and you can download it now or wait till next week. All you have to do is search UChicago Guides, and you'll be able to see our UChicago app, and the schedule will be released again next week. And I'm going to pass it off to Natalie to talk a little bit more about family programming.
Thank you. So I just want to share some tips for family engagement and some ways you can interact with your students on campus, but also with the general community and staying up to date. So one of the first initiatives that we just launched this summer is called the Phoenix Family Forum. So this is the college's newest parent and family portal. So basically, you can sign up and register. You all should have received a link sent directly to your email as long as your students' UChicago portal is up to date with the family contact information. And through this portal, you can receive up-to-date news and information about what's happening around UChicago's campus or with your students directly. So this is a great way to engage with us in the college. You can also post comments on the Phoenix Family Forum. So if you have questions about anything or kind of just want to engage with other parents and families within this college community, that's a great way to do so. This will also be the platform that we use for family weekend registration, which I'll talk about in a little bit here. So it's very imperative that you sign up and that all the family members or supporters of students at UChicago kind of log in and join this portal. It's also important that your students' contact information listed in the my.uchicago portal is up to date. So please let them know that they can continually keep that information up to date if your email address changes or anything that way, so you can make sure that you're receiving our direct communication. We also do have UChicago parent support and networking Facebook groups. So feel free to search for those on your Facebook and you can join those groups. We also would like to stress that it's important to check in with your students regarding important tasks and upcoming deadlines. A lot of those upcoming deadlines you'll probably be able to find through the Phoenix Family Forum, as there is a calendar option on there where you can see kind of upcoming dates and deadlines that are important for you to know. For example, we will list when the bills are due each quarter and things like that. So just make sure you're continually checking in with your students to make sure those tasks and deadlines are being completed. Hand in hand with this, it's important to create a great communication plan. A lot of times students might be overwhelmed right at the start if you're contacting them very frequently. So make sure you're on the same page about how often we should talk and whether that be through the phone or just by text and things like that. So having a communication plan set in place for when your student starts college is always a great idea. I also want to mention that Family Weekend this year is November 7th through 9th, which is coming up pretty quickly here. As I talked about earlier with the Phoenix Family Forum portal, that is going to be where we open our Family Weekend registration. Registration will be $50, and that will include your different events and activities for that weekend, as well as a few fun giveaways. So please register all of your family members that are planning to attend through the portal as well. Registration for Family Weekend will open in mid-September, so in a few weeks here. And if you have any questions about that, you can stop any of us in the CPO while you're here on campus during O Week and ask your questions. Or we also do have a family email that you can reach out to directly. That's just collegefamily@uchicago.edu. Also looking ahead, there are various activities happening during O Week that Whitney mentioned, but orientation activities also continue through the first week of classes. So we do have the Welcome Week, where each day there are many different events and programs happening for students to learn about services, offices, and opportunities across campus. We also will host the annual college kickoff barbecue, which has office presentations and open houses where students can learn more about student organizations and different events across campus and more. At this time, we're going to open it up for any Q&A that you all have. So please feel free to continually send in any questions that you have, and we will get started here shortly with housing and residence life and with CPO answering all of your questions. Okay, it looks like our first question here is for housing and residence life. So as my student selected a move-in time when she did the housing application, but cannot remember the time. How can she confirm her move-in time?
So at the time that students selected their move-in time, they did receive an email to their UChicago email account that would have that information in it. If the student is unable to locate that email, they can actually go back into the My Housing portal, navigate back to their housing application, and see or change their move-in time directly from there. That process is still open.
Awesome, thank you for sharing. We have a question for the CPO, and it says, will the people who help you move in before during O Week be there for pre-orientation move-in as well? The answer to that is no, but the moving carts will be available, so you can still use those to assist you move in. Next, for housing and residence life, where do we find the correct shipping addresses for packages shipped to our students?
Sure. So the shipping address is actually on the My Housing portal, directly on the main landing page after students log in with their CNET ID and password. It'll be right under the housing assignment information, and it will outline exactly how packages and mail should be addressed.
Awesome. For CPO next, where is the app to download the guidebook? We haven't been able to find it.
The app is called U Chicago Guides. And I can drop the link in the chat, but you won't be able to see anything because it's not published yet. But next week, when our communication goes out, and you download the app, then it will look different. But you can find it in Google Play or Apple Store under U Chicago Guides.
One more question for you, Whitney. What time do parent programs conclude on the 24th?
Yeah, great question. So on the 24th in the afternoon, we have opening convocation starting at 3:30. And students and families should try to say their goodbyes, as students will go straight from that event into their class photo, campus tours, dinner, hall meetings, and glow party. For families, after opening convocation, you'll be invited to the family reception from 4:30 to 6. So that would be the last event open for families that evening.
Thank you. Just as a reminder, please submit your questions through the Q&A. That's the easiest way for us to moderate tonight. For Housing and Residence Life, where do we find information about the approved vendors for refrigerators and microwaves?
Sure. We actually only have one vendor. mycollegefridge.com is our approved vendor. So if you navigate to that website, you'll be able to find information on there. We did release a reminder email earlier today to UChicago email accounts, reminding students that this coming Monday, September 8th, is the pre-order deadline. So the price will increase by about $30 after Monday for any additional orders, and we may not be able to guarantee that the unit will be in room before move-in. There will also be another reminder email that comes out to student email accounts on Monday as our final reminder.
Awesome, thank you. We have another question for our office. It says, I'm not receiving the family newsletters. How do I sign up? The easiest way to make sure you're on all of those emails is to have your student ensure that their my.uchicago portal is completely up to date. So they need to submit your accurate email address or contact information through their portal to be able to receive that information. We also do link the family newsletters on the Phoenix Family Forum portal. So you can Google search Phoenix Family Forum, UChicago, and it'll pop up. Make sure you create your account and keep all of your information up to date through that portal, and you'll receive that information through the portal as well. Back to Housing and Residence Life. If a student is moving in on September 17th, can we access packages sent to the mailroom that early?
Yes. Students arriving on or after September 12th will be able to access mail-in packages within their mailroom. Also, some of our packages are able, we don't have a separate mailroom, and they would be at the desks. And when students arrive, they will be shared that information.
Awesome. For CPO, when do students get their ID cards? The UCID, go ahead, Whitney.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was just gonna say students living on campus will get that their UCID card when they check in for move-in at their residence hall. If a student lives off campus, they'll receive that at orientation check-in. I just wanted to highlight for families, for your student and yourself to access the dining halls, they have to have their UCID card. So if you arrive early and you're trying to access the dining hall, but your student doesn't have their UCID card, you might have to pay the door rate because you won't have access to guest meal swipes until they have checked into housing or orientation to get that card.
Okay, back to Housing and Residence Life. Do students need or should they acquire renter's insurance?
We do not require renters or personal property insurance. However, we strongly recommend it. There is information in the My Housing portal about that, as well as on our website. Oftentimes this is something that students don't necessarily think about. It's not top of mind. We understand that. However, we have partnered with a company called GradGuard that provides personal property insurance policies at very reasonable rates that are specifically designed for college students. So I encourage you to look at the information that's on our site for that. You are also welcome to secure your own personal property insurance through another provider. And we also do encourage students and families to look at their homeowners policies to see if items are covered that are in college residence halls. Some policies do cover those.
Awesome. Thank you. For the CPO, what time is the first event for students on September 23rd, their move-in day?
So students will move into the residence hall, and then the first event for orientation is orientation check-in, which is happening all day from 10 to 5. So you don't have to come right at 10, you can come at any time throughout the day. And then throughout the day, on top of that, there's many optional events, drop-in hours, resident, hall receptions, etc., that you can check out when you have the time in your schedule.
Okay, housing and residence life. Can you please describe the laundry facilities? Do the students need to get quarters? What are the charges for the washer and dryer?
Yeah, so each building has laundry facilities, or at least one in their building. These are commercial type machines that are maintained by a vendor that we work with. I will say I've worked at a few other campuses. They are great and they fix machines pretty quickly. Um, so you're not gonna go down to the facilities and half are gonna be out of order typically. Each cycle costs 150. And you can use, we do have card readers, and also Phoenix Cash they will take as well. I forget if it's Maroon Dollars or Phoenix Cash. I forget what it's called. I'm sorry. But yes, so they don't necessarily need quarters to use the laundry room.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. That wraps up our Q&A section of today's webinar. So thank you to our presenters and everyone who attended. Please visit the orientation website, orientation.uchicago.edu, to learn more about any upcoming information regarding O Week. And please feel free to reach out to Housing and Residence Life or us in the CPO directly. As we mentioned earlier, we do have a few key communications that are coming out this week and next week with additional information about Move-In and O Week. So just be sure to check your emails and visit our websites. I will be uploading all of these communications to the Phoenix Family Forum as well. So feel free to look there as well. We look forward to welcoming you all and all of your families very soon, and welcoming you to campus in just a few short weeks. So thank you all for attending and have a great evening.